Congressman Bob Good here with your weekly Good News from Washington. Had the privilege this past weekend of traveling to try to help one of our constituents, Tyler Wenrich from Louisa County, who's being held in Turks and Caicos, a British Isle that has come out recently with a very strong anti-gun law where they're having a zero tolerance for anyone that has a firearm or ammunition in their country. But the unfortunate consequence of that is that U.S. citizens who've had accidentally one or two bullets in their bag, unbeknownst to them, are being faced with up to 12 years in prison. So I went down there with some of my other colleagues who have Americans from their respective states being held to try to advocate for them, to meet with the officials there in Turks and Caicos to try to help bring them home more quickly. So I hope we're going to get a quick resolution on that for Tyler Wenrich very soon. Also introduced my latest bill, the Protecting Student Athletes Economic Freedom Act, which would state that student athletes, college athletes, cannot be declared as employees of their respective universities or conferences and therefore can't unionize. That would drastically raise up the cost of college athletics and really ruin the student-athlete model that has served us well for over 100 years. This week on the House floor, I voted to prevent non-citizens from voting in D.C. elections. We cannot allow non-U.S. citizens to vote in any elections, and certainly not those who have broken the law in order to come to our country. In my health subcommittee, the Health, Employment, Labor, and Pension Subcommittee, we held a hearing this week on the harmful impact of labor unions and the Biden administration's continued bias in their favor, trying to do everything they can to try to force labor unions upon employees all over the country. And only 6% of Americans work for a labor union. Americans have demonstrated they don't want to work for a union, but the Biden administration won't take no for an answer and is trying to make it difficult for employers all over the country to resist a union coming to their business. In our Education Workforce full committee hearing, we brought in college presidents to talk again about their support for anti-Semitism on their campuses. We had the Northwestern University president, the UCLA president, and the Rutgers University president. And when I questioned the Rutgers president, asked him about did he think that Israel was a genocidal nation, he wouldn't answer that question. I also asked him if he thought MAGA Republicans were a threat to Jewish people, to Israelis. And he wouldn't answer that question either. And it really shows where our college campuses are. In our budget committee hearing this week, we examined the rising costs of health care and how much that is hurting our overall national debt and our federal spending, and what can we do to address that, try to bring costs truly down. How can we fight for more transparency, more competition, and those sorts of things. Healthcare spending is projected to reach $7 trillion on an annual basis in the next several years. Thank you for the privilege of representing you in Washington.